Okay, then it's time for a transfer roundup. As you know, it's the weekend. Overwatch League is going on, and this is when we tend to have some off-meta videos. So we just call them off-meta videos if they're not Overwatch League videos these days. I suppose we could run with it. Anyway, we've got a little bit to get through in this transfer roundup. They're probably coming back weekly now. There's going to be a lot of activity considering we're just going into a new month of contenders. For EU and North America, we're approaching the end of the playoffs in Australia. We're approaching Interleague. We just had the Interleague for Korea, and then we will be going into their full playoffs as well, their knockouts, their step bracket. So let's get into this then, and we see that first of all there's a retirement. That's Parfact retiring, the Korean DPS player. He did have time with Atlanta Academy and T1. So wish him all the best in what he goes on to next. Sticking with the Korean region, we see that Attitude has left WGS, well, not left WGS Phoenix, but become inactive on WGS Phoenix. So hopefully he finds his way back into that team, the Korean DPS player. Then we see the Chinese coach Nohil has left as an advisor of Team CC, that team now competing in Korea and will no longer be assigned. And we see Innovation, the DPS player for Team CC, move to a player-player-coach role, which is really, really interesting. Don't see player-player coaches all that often. So, yeah, I really wish him all the best in that. Then we see the Korean tank player Dusk, who was most recently at Wisp, retiring. Wish him all the best. Again, that should probably be in the NA section, but they are Korean, so that's why we're kind of running with that. And then the Hong Kong support Mango Jai will be retiring from Overwatch as well. There are substantial retirements in this one. So, yeah, that's kind of sad, I guess. But now let's move over to China, where we see the Korean support player Physics leaving the one winner, no longer assigned after that one. And we see also the Korean tank player IQ20 leaving First Fabulous Fighter. They will be retiring completely. Again, another retirement. That's a real shame to see. And then we see Coach Only Wish being promoted from assistant coach at Bilibili Gaming to head coach. This probably comes after the transfer of Mentalist, which we'll be talking about in a minute as well. And then H3 Lai will be transferring to content creator for the one winner. He was a Chinese DPS player and was previously unassigned, now on that team as a content creator. I'm sure he'll do very, very well there. Now let's go over to North America then, and this is where we go to the Mexican DPS player Molthal leaving Odyssey. He will no longer be assigned. He's going to be looking for a new team quite obviously. Then we see a lot of moves around Maryville. So, first of all, this is the American DPS player Iced moving from Maryville to a two-way contract of Maryville and American Tornado. American Tornado wanted a backup DPS player. They decided to yoink Iced off of Maryville. So, he should do pretty well. And normally, well, American Tornado have a knack of picking up some pretty good players. Then we have the American tank player Infected. He'll be moving from a non-assigned role to R-Door. Joining him will be the American tank player Gummy. There's been a lot of changes at our door recently, obviously with people moving in and moving out. They're also going to assign 2 new support players. They're both going to be on 2 ways from Maryville. So Maryville are having a lot of their players joined, not going to lie. But this is Halo, first of all. We saw him at the Boston Uprising last season, and also Panic, both 2 American support players. These are going to come in to replace the current R-Door crew. And they hopefully will do very well. Then we have a brand new team in North America. This is called Malice, and they will be signing the following. So they will have an American coach called Cap. Then they will have 2 supports. They're all American, by the way, so Sluggo and Angel 1C. Then they will have 2 tank players. This will be Akash and Crawl. Then they will have 2 American DPS players. This is Sai and My Crazy Cat. And then we will see them have 1 Korean influence. This will be the Korean DPS player for Shadow. They will all be coming from non-assigned to play for Malice, and I wish them all the best. I believe they are playing in this NA Contenders month, and they have taken a map off of Odyssey. No, Revival. I think they took a map off of Revival, who are our current champions. So, yeah, super interesting stuff. 3 players in at Wisp, though, current Contenders team. This is the American Flex player coach Gary, 44. Also the American support player CJ, and the American DPS player Doomed. If Doomed doesn't play Doom, I'm going to be very sad. Also, we see two more people into our door. This is the American tank player Bubbles and the American DPS player Vision. Wish them all the best coming. These were all unassigned previously, by the way. And then, lastly in America, we see that the Bay Alliance have signed the American DPS player Chopper. and he will be rolling out for them in this current Contenders month. A lot of changes between months in Contenders. That's generally how things happen. Contenders have a very high turnover of players, and that's where you see so many moves. And yeah, that's kind of it, because not a lot of people in Contenders are contracted to their roles. Anyway, let's move on to the European region. Lots of changes at Young and Beautiful. First of all, they let go both of Cruz and Boombox. This is very, very interesting, because there was apparently issues with the Young and Beautiful. Cruz and Boombox are looking at setting up a new team. They were not happy with the atmosphere that was at Young and Beautiful, which is very surprising. So considering we've always seen Young and Beautiful as a fairly PMA team, so it is slightly worrying. I don't think we can get around that. But Cruz and Boombox leave, which is a shame because that was a massively stacked support line. Then we see the French tank player Shu or Shu. I don't know. I'm sorry. Leaving Sharecold, he'll no longer be assigned. And then the two replacements for Cruz and Boombox at Young and Beautiful will be Momentum and Landon, two American support players. So a lot of the entire support line of Young and Beautiful is going to be playing on ping, which is not ideal from a Young and Beautiful point of view. There's going to be some struggles at Young and Beautiful in the short term, I think. Then we see also that the German tank player Naru has moved from a player role at Young and Beautiful to a streamer role at Young and Beautiful. So honestly, this team is pretty much blowing up. Like in between months, this team is blowing up. So yeah, really, really interesting. Then we see the Dutch tank player NKZ move from 4th Dimension to Sheer Cold. He will be replacing obviously What is wrong with me? And also Sheer Cold are going to be signing a name that has appeared on this transfer roundup a lot of times. This is the French DPS player Asking. Asking is cracked. Has been for a long time. Been one of my dark horses for a shot at Owl, not gonna lie. But he's never sort of made it, not quite sure why. I think Asking has a few issues maybe outside of his actual quality, should we say? So yeah, a little rough, not gonna lie, but I'm sure Asking is gonna do fantastic at Sheer Cold. Then we have two more people changing up at Young and Beautiful. This is both coming in actually. So Autumn Souls is a Canadian support player coming out of retirement to be a substitute at Young and Beautiful. Also, Milky Man is going to be a substitute at Young and Beautiful, which is rather weird. And then we're going to talk about Milky Man again in a minute. So again, Young and Beautiful are so weird right now. So weird. It's all over the place. We see next up the Chinese manager Hoon leaving Shoes Money Crew and will no longer be assigned. Wish him all the best in finding a new team. And then we see the American DPS player Light will be moving on a 2-way contract from Maryville Esports to playing with Oldham Board as well. Maryville Esports, everyone's on 2-way contracts with bigger teams. It's very, very crazy. And then we also see Oldham Board signing up the Finnish support player Snap. Wish him all the best as well in his new role there. More changes at Young and Beautiful. This is the last 3 changes in the EU, all revolve around Young and Beautiful. So, okay, Ben Best is leaving Young and Beautiful, will no longer be assigned. I'm presuming Ben Best will end up wherever Cruz and Boombox end up at this new team. Oh boy, that is rough. Young and Beautiful had a stacked roster and it's just blown up in a month. That is really, really rough. And to replace Ben Best, they are bringing in the French tank player Shu. When I say Shu, it just sounds like the support player Shu. I don't think that's how you say it, but hey, we're gonna run with it. So he'll be coming into Young and Beautiful to fill those shoes. That is, again, a definite step down in quality. I think we all agree with that. That's rough. And then Milky Man, after being a substitute for not very long, will be retiring again. Well, actually, not just not being assigned, he will retire. Yeah. Oh, Lord. Young and Beautiful. It's going to be, they're going to take some rebuilding, this team. I don't know what has gone wrong, but it has gone wrong. And, it's going to be rough. Can't argue. It's going to be rough. So, last of all, we are going to head over to the Overwatch League because you've got one thing to talk about. This is the Hangzhou Spark. They let go of their head coach Pachion and their assistant coach Noru. It's revolved around some leaks about Hangzhou Spark hierarchy not being happy with the way in which they turned out in week 1 of the Overwatch League, or week 2 of the Overwatch League when they first appeared. Playing Takoyaki a lot more than Gushui, etc. like that. Those leaks could be entirely false, and I have a lot of concerns about those leaks, because they say that Liji and Coldest were two-way players, even though they have not been noted as two-way players by anyone as far as I know, including Liquipedia. So normally Liquipedia picks up on these things if people are known as two-way players. So no one has ever actually said that those are two-way players. So I don't know about those leaks, but it is evidence that Padron and Neural are now gone. However, Hangzhou Spark did promote one of their current coaches, Andante, to the role. I think it's Andante. I would be very depressed if I got that wrong. And then to come in as an assistant coach, Mentalist has come in from Bilibili Gaming, which is why we mentioned about Only Wish earlier on, moving to his head coach role at Bilibili Gaming. He's most likely the replacement for Mentalist there as he moves up to the Hangzhou Spark. Bilibili Gaming and Hangzhou Spark very, very closely related, obviously, as Bilibili Gaming is their academy team in Chinese Contenders. So we rolled through that, and it is a shorter video than it has been recently. Oh boy, shorter video, yes. Plenty of more stuff. Plenty of more stuff? Plenty of more stuff? Okay, dude. It's one of those days. Plenty more stuff coming up on the channel, obviously, as things hot up in the Overwatch League. A lot of Overwatch League action to go through in the next reaction video as well. Then there'll be a bumper Team of the Week, I'm sure. So yeah, a lot of stuff going on. But thank you guys. I was about to do my intro and then didn't plug the socials, so yeah, all the socials are linked in the video description below to Illusion Gaming. Follow the Twitters, follow my Twitter, get in the Discords, join the Discords, communities, talk, etc. You know the spiel by now, and click the subscribe button and then click the bell so you get notified. Okay, yeah, you know, this is YouTube. Anyway, I'm going to leave it here for this one, so thank you guys so much for the video. If you liked it, give a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. See you then!